Phone rings, random number. Do you answer?
God, no. Would you?
Well, if you talk to the average teenager of today and you ask them what it is about pop culture that they like, and the first thing they'll say is the beat.
Get yourself addicted. Get yourself addicted.
Welcome into the Pop Culture Pile Driver. Get addicted to the content. I am Jason Rossi. You can be followed along across on all social media platforms at Jason D. Rossi. Our Twitter machine handle is at PopCulturePD. And if you like it, it will instantly make you longer. Take that for what it's worth. Just follow at PopCulturePD. And with me, as always, my tag team partner in the podcast fair. He's not picking up the phone if he don't know your number. He can be followed across all social media platforms at BillyD2411. It's Billy D. What's going on, man?
What up? Hello. Every time that you do the welcome, I think it's the welcome from Nelly's Batter Up when they go, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mark. Oh, who gives a fuck? From 93 TV. Every time you do that, because it kind of starts a little bit odd because of the way the stream plays from the video. But we're here to talk some JGL or some Jogo Lee or Jogo Low.
No, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. There's no short. We're going to get to that as our topic of the week. He's turning 40 years old this week. He is
no fucking way.
40 years old.
Shit.
The week that this is being recorded, depending on when you're listening, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is 40 years old, which is one of those things. Is that old or is that young for him? The listener gets to fill that in, but you know what I mean? Like some people be like, oh my God, I can't believe he's that old. And other people be like, well, he was like a teenager in the 90s, I think. So it's wild. We'll go through
he's right around our age.
Yeah, we'll go through his filmography. We'll tell you our favorites. We'll put a little Mount Rushmore +1. We'll see. We'll give our favorite movies at the end of all this. But if you are listening, we appreciate it. If you are, wherever you're listening to us, you can subscribe and review over on iTunes. A 5-star review will make everybody longer. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, radio.com. You can like and subscribe on YouTube, where we record the show live if you want to see our sparkling mugs. And don't forget to like the Dork Shared Gooniverse on Facebook. Just search Dork Shared. There's nothing else that fills in after that but Gooniverse. In this podcast, nonprofit is Frank Says Hi. If you buy a t-shirt over at TeePublic, we have the PCP, the Them Pineapple Boys, I've heard it both ways t-shirt, as well as the Rossi's Horrible Take t-shirt. Any purchase of those $3 goes to Frank Says Hi, which is giving funds directly to those affected by cancer at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, not just for research, but direct family or causes or situations. Like we had recently purchased a wedding dress, and are also helping because there's not enough volunteers right now with the pandemic that's just never ending. So we're just trying to help them get some funds for good crafts, toys, and things like that for them to have some more things to do while people are taking their chemotherapy or living at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute for now. So all that is appreciated. Shout out to our guys. Oh yeah, who are you hearing the music from? I feel I got clipped away. What happened to your head?
So my head hurts a little bit, so I flipped it around so it wasn't as tight on my head. So I'm wearing a hat. I wear a hat probably almost every day of my life, usually backwards, but for some reason I have a little bit of a headache. Could be because I had a nasty spill down the stairs yesterday. So that's why I flipped the hat around.
Were you drinking grandpa's syrup, or was this just a slip?
I was taking out the trash, and stairs were clean, but there was that little bit of just almost invisible ice. It wasn't black ice. It just caught me at the wrong thing. I may have broken my wrist. X-rays are pending, so fingers crossed for me. Hopefully next week.
Can you cross your fingers?
I can cross. I can snap, but this really hurts. So it's not great. It's not great, but they're dropping a new song pretty soon, and it's going to be. I'm going to call it a song of the summer. It's really going to be one of the songs of the summer. You can listen to We Did the Archives, the best songs of the summer in the past here on the podcast. You can check that out if you download and subscribe over on iTunes or anywhere, because we have our full library history there. Bill, there was something else I was just going to ask you, but you threw me off with your wrist because you are Mr. Glass. We talked about this once before. I think Davey, there was something about injury-prone people. You are by far, this is the longest stretch I've heard you say that you haven't been a broken bone or in the hospital for something. Yeah, it's been a while, so I was really frustrated because I had been getting back to the gym, now that it's open, and hopefully this doesn't interrupt the benching that I've been doing, as horrible as that sounds. That's what I was immediately pissed about.
I don't know much, but I'm going to say a broken or busted ribs probably going to affect that bench.
Yeah, it's probably going to hurt it. Yep.
Probably a little bit. But with that being said, Bill, this also goes to show like these funny videos when you people sliding and gliding downstairs, while funny from a distance, hurts in reality.
Oh, dude. I mean, I have always said if I ever have by the grace of God, have a child that I know of, with someone that I can actually take care of it with, I will show them those videos of people doing stupid stuff before they go out. Because, it sucks to get surgery. It's awful. It's one of the worst things you can do.
I've luckily not had to deal with it too often, but just doesn't sound fun. I can tell you that. Just does not. I
think I'm running on 6 surgeries, maybe.
Good for you. That's great. Again, Mr. Glass, Billy D. That's him. That's I don't know, dude. Recently, we're on the Mac and Goo program.
Not Mac and Goo.
I don't want to get into. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You were recently teamed up with Goo for a podcast that now has its own title and channel, I believe.
I have Wandavision, a Wandavision podcast.
Yes, very fitting. Good title. Not going to miss what that's about. But you teamed up with Goo to talk about it on Friday. I didn't get to hear all your thoughts. If you can sum up your thoughts on WandaVision episode 6 in a shorter version than a full podcast, what would it be?
For one word, phenomenal. But if you want me to go slightly more,
please.
I said it was getting better with every episode, and Goo kind of squashed it back a little bit correctly, saying this is the level it's now reached. Like the last 2 episodes were of almost the same ilk. Yep. But I will say I was super impressed still by the quality. That ending scene, and
people have seen it. If they haven't seen it, we're in. She extended the place. She extended it. Spoilers!
Like that scene, I know it wasn't the reveal that Quicksilver was, but that scene was just phenomenal. Like everything that she does is breathtaking. I really think this is changing the way television will be made in the future. I really do.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
Because there's no set time for each episode. They're using,
that's okay. Fine.
Like every single one is different. It's 9 episodes. I know that's not crazy different, but usually it's 8 or 10. And they're using the equity built in from an entire movie universe.
Yes.
To create this story that's compelling and rich from characters you didn't care about. And they're doing it in a way that Community would do spoofs of a TV show. They would do a Law and Order episode. But they are doing, basically, besides that one episode that we've had that you kind of needed, the sword episode, they are doing individual spoofs of different episodes of TV in a chronological fashion of telling a complex story in a it's just, I think they're going to break the mold for what TV needs to be. It doesn't need to fit any rules anymore. Tell your stories in the time it takes, and that's it.
Yeah, I think you're oversimplifying. I think every TV show has ever done that, personally. I think that you've seen this literally every show. It has a certain amount of time, tells a story within that. I know,
but everything has the 22 minutes or the 44-minute constraints.
Well, that's also because of... Well, that's due to the show. But Game of Thrones was all over the place with their times. At times, sometimes it would be an hour and 10 minutes. Sometimes it would be 48 minutes. They did that for a while.
That's true, but I really feel like this is just... This
is your hyper Billy.
Maybe it's just super fresh to me and super unique, but I really don't think I've seen people taking creative swings like this in a long time, where it's just out of left field, completely things that you wouldn't see in a superhero universe, doing television spoofs and making it work in their universe. I think that whoever is in charge, is it Feige who's in charge of all this stuff?
He's the face of it. Of course, there's a whole team that has been doing this since the beginning of once they knew that the MCU was going to be as big as it was.
But I think they're letting creative people be creative, and that's how you be successful.
I agree. I thought this episode was actually one of my favorites because the Quicksilver thing at the end of last episode was and I said this was so for the hardcore viewing.
I think it's just
dorks.
not for the people who didn't watch X-Men like me and you.
Yeah, it was. Well, no, it was for me. I understood. I got it. I know the character. I know the actor, but I didn't think it was like holy smokes, because we don't know if it's opening the universe yet. That's to come. And I thought this episode was more like, this was fantastic. Like, this was hardcore storytelling. Like you were saying, like, where Vision's he's getting the knowledge of something's wrong. Something's not good here.
Acting, if you will, the Shakespearean acting. Like that stuff between him and, what's her name? Han.
Oh, Han. I call her Jessica Hahn. No, it's not her, but the woman who was in the
Elizabeth.
comics.
I don't know. I love her. The girl
Elizabeth. You're just throwing out names.
Madeline Kahn, my favorite actress of all time. But
Good
the
job.
acting between them two, the acting between Wanda and her brother, it was just knocked out of the park. I really felt invested in the episode. I've watched it twice since. It's just good TV, and that's so hard to find these days. Wes says he hasn't been engrossed in something as much since the Game of Thrones.
Don't care what Wes had to say, but I don't mean that rude.
No, I'm just saying, I agree with him, because even The Mandalorian, as much as I loved it, I was still waiting for the good stuff.
What about The Boys? You sweated The Boys. You told me The Boys is the best show.
Boys is good, but it's kind of just like it's good storytelling, but this is like a little deeper. It's a little less superficial. It's a little bit less.
It's just
like
light.
the Boys is just shocking. Like
Okay.
some of the stuff is just shocking. There's some good hidden stuff. There's some good stuff that pulls at the heartstrings a little bit. But everything in this, every time Wanda does something in this show, like whether it's good or bad, I'm like, oh, don't do that. I don't want you to be the bad guy. Or, oh, that was nice. Like she is tapping into my emotions at every turn.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a whole background, a story behind it. I think the show is great. I'm all in. It's my Friday night watch. My wife is into it. She obviously has seen all the movies with me, but like she is super like she's like, oh, when do we want to do WandaVision? I'm like, well, we're watching SmackDown first. That's some quality TV, Bill. You want to get into some quality TV. I will give a shout out to NXT this week for all of those wrestle fans. This, Bill, you would devour this thing. You would everything you're saying about WandaVision waxing poetic. This week's NXT takeover, well, it was called Vengeance Day, which why wasn't it St. Valentine's Day Massacre? It took place on Valentine's Day, just like the pay-per-view in 1999. But
I own that pay-per-view somewhere, either at my mom's house or somewhere in my basement right now. I own that on VHS. Vince McMahon giving the double bird.
Oh, yeah, and his high
his high other fingers on the
ankles. What am I talking about? I'm like you, just throwing out
the
words.
ring finger and the pointer finger.
Yeah,
high around the middle finger.
His knuckles are super.
Basically, he gives the middle finger where he just basically like hides the knuckles of every finger, but the top.
Anyways,
knuckles.
It's really good. 2.5 hours, action packed, all filler. I mean, all killer, no filler, just like the Sum 41 album. So shout out to that. A couple other things, Bill, I wanted to talk about. Have you seen this Britney Spears documentary of your Hulu account that I use?
Is that why you asked for the password the other day?
I sure did. And you know how things just like go off over time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh man.
I forget my passwords because I have so many, and everybody does for work. I have like 9 that are all kind of the same. They're all 1 or 2 people's names followed by numbers, and I just get so confused because they're always changing. But I haven't seen it, but I really, really do, because I think Britney Spears is fascinating. She's in that like conservatorship, and I know Wes asked me today if he could be my conservator.
No, you want me. Trust me, you want me. But
it looks fascinating.
It's very much the quick overview for people, because people have told me sell me on it. Like I was with a mutual. We'll go with. I don't know. I don't want to say the word friend, and I don't want to say coworker, and I don't know what to use because you're going to get offended. But Adam Kaufman. Yeah,
you can say friend.
Okay, well, I wanted to say
pretend to me, pal hole.
That guy who sent you NBA contest because you just want your money, Adam Kaufman, he's like, sell me on this. Why should I watch it? I'm like, well, first of all, that's not my job. I'm not getting paid. But what I would say to
it's annoying.
Yeah, so there you go. What I would say to this audience, though, people that are listening, if you're skeptical, want to watch it, it's done by the New York Times, which I think is more reparable than most just like Tom, Dick, and Harry. No, it's not the New York Post. Have you seen? No, I think they're more quality than not with their documentaries. It's still skewed, but the moral of it is Britney Spears is an icon. Yeah. In music and especially the time that she broke, and the things that happened to her are really like, we look back, we weren't talking about mental health like we were today. Look, the perfect way I explained it to him was Demi Lovato is known as a sympathetic person because she's been through, a lot of personal struggles, attempted suicide, very sad, drug. But we all looked at that as, mental issues. Britney Spears went through a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of background to why it happened. And
she
looked at her
sexualized since she was 14.
Bill, since I was like right about 17 when Baby One More Time video came out. The girl was wearing a not even that short skirt and was wearing midriff top, and people were losing their GD minds. The 2020, the biggest song in the world was called WAP, and it stood for wet backside and female genitalia. Bill, it was the biggest song, and we look at those two and like, oh, Queens. It's like 21 years ago, we were destroying a teenager. And you got to watch it. I would say.
And I love her. I find her fascinating. I think her pop music is phenomenal. So I will definitely watch it.
It's so fascinating, and it's not long. Some documentaries people tell you to sit down and watch. It's like 2.5 hours. You're like, oh boy, this is like 80 minutes at most. A couple other things, Bill, just want to quickly, we'll bounce off before we get to our big topic with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Chappelle's Show back on Netflix, Bill.
And he's getting paid for it this time. I
sure
think
is.
We might have to do an episode, and we might have to have a few people on. We could do a draft of the episodes. That would be fun.
Sounds heavy.
I think we are getting into a lot of drafting lately, but I think that is one that maybe the whole DSG could do. Maybe we just have Wes and Keith on because I know they're huge fans. But it's one of my favorite shows of all time, and that's not even hyperbole. It's that good. Definitely the best top 2 sketch comedy show of all time. It really is right up there.
I'm not touching that. I'll let you take that one. I can't say. I just watch I Think You Should Leave over and over again. So
that's like my number one, probably.
SNL's my number one, but
SNL has so many misses, and I know they have decades of it. But I would prefer to watch all of the best sketches. I would prefer to watch 90 minutes of I Think You Should Leave instead of you assembling me 90 minutes of the best SNL that it's ever happened. I really would.
You rather on loop? Would you watch the Scrooge one from I Think You Should Leave over?
Nothing. Not a single one. That's the worst one ever.
Okay, I was just making sure. We should do I know it's been done dork ranked, but like a year later or whatever. Now it's been like a year and a half later. We should do like a
retrospective.
Yeah. Like there's still because I'm sure that there's gonna be a second season sooner or later popping off on us. Before we get to that, Bill, a couple other quickies. I'm gonna be getting glasses.
Yeah,
I have bad eyes.
What do you got? What's the prescription? I used to make glasses.
Oh, well, so did I. Funny. I used to write them. I don't have them in front of me, but it's
-2, -3, +4, +5.
One's a 3, one's a 2. Left eye. Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Jason Rossi over here. Bad. I sent it to our buddy Kevin. He's like, you're toast.
You nearsighted, farsighted? Are they curved in, curved out? What are we doing here?
Are we talking about the junk?
Are you
going to the left?
Do you see really close to you? Or really, are you having trouble seeing close or far?
Far. I'm nearsighted.
So you're nearsighted. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be bad, but I'm going to look really snazzy. So says Kevin. My eyes don't equal up. It's going to be weird. And I asked my eye doctor, I was like, so do I have to wear these like all the time? He's like, all the time. I was like, sweet. So I'm going to wear goggles in the gym. That's going to be my goal. I want Horace Grant goggles.
Oh, I love Horace Grant. I was trying to sell my nephew because he has terrible eyesight and he likes basketball, but he refuses to wear rec specs. And I think it's affecting his shooting. And I'm telling you, man,
get him in there.
Horace Grant was the coolest cat ever.
Great free throw shooter, by the way. Look at those averages. Last thing, Bill, for me, without in my mind before we get to Joseph Gordon-Levitt is, you like Chick-fil-A? I know we talked about fast food recently.
You know what? I think it's slightly overrated. The sauce is the best thing. They make a damn good chicken sandwich, but I think I prefer a lot of other chicken sandwiches over it. To me, it's comparable to even the Wendy's one. The sauce is good. The fries are good. It's good. It's a little overrated.
Okay. That's fine. Well, there's a girl. She's 19 years old, and she won a car because she's an employee of Chick-fil-A at their Christmas party. And she said when she got the car, she was driving it to work, and she noticed one of her coworkers was driving a bike. So I'm like, oh, what does this have to do with anything, right? We need some positivity, some positive news. She gave this girl her car that she won from the company because she had another car. And I'm trying to see what the make of this car was. I don't think it's all that nice. It's like a Accord or something. A Hyundai. It's a Hyundai. Still a car. And this girl was super appreciative. So look, we're just putting some positive vibes out there.
Do you know about Chick-fil-A? They're all kind of like people of the cloth.
Catholic.
They're a lot like they're a lot like West.
Big ups to Jesus. All right, well, I'm down with Jesus. Me and Jesus get down. I pray. I'm gonna have to pray for your wrist now. I'm gonna have to add it to my repertoire.
Honestly, kind of do.
Yeah, I always do, Bill. You're in there, whether you like it or not. All right, so Bill, Joseph Gordon-Levitt turns 40 years old. He is my. I said this. I was talking to my wife, and we talk about a lot of things, but I always say there are very few actors. If I see them in a role, I'm like, I'm gonna watch this, even if it's total trash. Joseph Gordon-Levitt has been that guy for me. I'll explain when that came as we go through kind of his chronological order of filmography. But when you hear the name Joseph Gordon-Levitt, we'll get to the movies. But what first pops off to you?
For me, it's Third Rock from the Sun until 2 days ago. Now, it's Ganja.
Oh, we got Hyper Billy is ready. Get him out of the closet, boys and girls. We'll definitely talk about that movie as we get there. But
that's all I'm going to talk about the whole night.
Sure you are. The way we'll go through this is I'm just going to basically list the movies that he's in, give us a quick thought on it. Like it or not, I think at the end we give our top 4 of each. And then, you know what? Maybe we'll put a little poll up and we'll say, what is your favorite Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie out of all these? So, Bill, the first major motion picture he was in, I totally forgot this was him. Because
me too.
He has a very unique look.
Go back to Cincinnati. Oh, it's one of my favorite quotes of all time.
He has a very unique look, this Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And I was like, I wonder what his first movie was. His very first movie on film has a lot of speaking roles for a young kid. Before Third Rock from the Sun, 1994, going back 26 years, Angels in the Outfield.
I completely glossed over this as one of his movies. This is one of my favorite kids' movies. I think I'd have to watch this again and Rookie of the Year back to back to see which is my favorite kid baseball movie.
Ooh. What? No, Sandlot. What about Sandlot?
Fuck Sandlot. I think it's overrated.
Oh!
It is.
Whoa!
It's overrated. I think both of these movies are more fun.
More fun?
More fun? Yeah. I think
these movies are serious. There's real players. Sandlot is awesome. It's a fantastic.
It's overrated. It's overrated.
What?
I mean, that may be my first Rossi's Horrible Take. You had a good one this week. Oh, by the way,
what happened?
It was your playlist that you got crushed on.
So I'm going to say something to all of them. I guarantee, I was saying this to our friends Gianna, Backcracker, play Billy's playlist and watch your load get squirted within 2 and 2.2, or the person be like, what are you trying to prove? My list gets you in there. Reasons? I told you, I knew this was going to happen. They're box scores warriors. That's going to be my new term, like keyboard warriors, box score warriors. They look at the list and they say, oh, listen to it. If you're going to tell me Spaceship by Puddle of Mud ain't going to get that cranked, if you're not going to stir the pot to that one, put a little salt in your boiled water, nothing will. And on top of it, after that, it all went good. But anyways, I'll take the hit. That's all right.
So there was also, before we get dive back in here. So Keith said that he won a part of the poll or the
Rumble pool. Yes.
And then he was entitled to $10 and you sent him $5
twice.
And then another $5. Why?
Because I wanted to be funny. Why not? He got it. I was going to do it 10 times because I made a mistake. I actually sent $10 to another person, Bill.
Yeah. I
had to reclaim $10 from somebody who didn't say, hey, I think you messed this up, because that'll never happen. I understand. No. And so I was like, hey, dude, my bad. You didn't win that $10. It was actually this one because there was a couple close on and I'll be honest, I glossed. It was a gloss quick. I'm like, do this quick because I was late. I was late to my payouts because I was literally like, life happened.
Well, I mean, our fantasy football payouts just happened 9 days ago and the season ended, I don't know, 2 months ago.
But that's, you know what, good things come to those who wait. But Keith, now I know how he is. He's going to spot off private conversations. I will be sending him $1 bills from now.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, well, listen, why get, $1? I was like, oh, here's $5. And then I said, I'm going to make him wait for the other $5 in a little while.
So, that quote, that thing, to get back to Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, please.
That thing that you sent out today? It's like, if you know, when you put the Ghostbusters thing.
Yes. That's one large Twinkie.
If I had time to think, I would have done Go Back to Cincinnati from this movie.
Just do it now.
It's fucking fantastic.
It's good stuff. So obviously that was his very first film. You did bring up something interesting, and obviously baseball season is around the corner, Bill. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's something I'm going to put in our little thought, because we have a lot to reveal before the end of this episode, but we got to keep this thing moving because I get anxious after a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. So that was just his first movie. So I do think maybe talking about some baseball movies when baseball kicks off. We have 3 we just talked about. I'm sure there's more. Up next, Bill, would be in 1998. He was in Halloween H2O, a very minor role in that one.
Yeah. No, thank you. I've never seen that one, so
not scary. You'd be fine. Yeah, that he was barely in. He was just in the beginning scenes where they go back to the Myers house. Here's the movie that put him outside of, obviously, Third Rock from the Sun happened throughout this time, by the way. Third Rock from the Sun with John Lithgow, Kirsten Johnson, who I used to think was the sexiest woman alive. Not saying she's not attractive, but then she's very, kind of looks like China. And that's not a bad thing. Just very masculine woman, strong. I'd be very intimidated by her, but then I'd let the business get. Kirsten Johnston, isn't that her name?
Oh, okay. Is that the girl that he's involved with in the movie?
No. From Third Rock from the Sun, the sister.
Yeah. I got you. I was gonna say Julia Stiles is the main person.
No, that's 10 Things I Hate About You. Yeah, that's his next movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, which he was a B tier character in, but he was really
pretty good. Yeah, he was really good. Was it Cameron James was his name in that movie?
Oh, sure.
So Keith Ledger was the guy going after Julia Stiles, and he was going after.
No, see, that's the thing. He wasn't going after Julia Stiles. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character paid him to go after Julia Stiles so that he could go out with Alex Mack.
Because her dad wouldn't let the younger girl
dating until your sister dates.
And I hate that guy. That guy. That's his biggest role ever. He usually plays a B tier guy in a TV show. That guy sucks,
dude. You're kidding me? If you have 2 daughters, which we know in your lot in life, that's exactly what's going to happen.
That's all I want in life.
You're going to be like Robios. You're going to have 4 daughters.
I'll take them.
Of course you will, but go with the burn. The point is that he's smart man. Your daughter doesn't my oldest doesn't even like going out of the house or talking to people. The other one, I'm scared she's too popular, too social. You don't date until she dates. Great movie, great concept, good Joseph Gordon-Levitt role. Really,
this one kind of put him on the map, though,
and puts the shine on what I believe his best kind of roles are. He is expansive in his career, but this started the kind of quirky, coy, funny, lovable
boy meets girl kind of guy.
Boy meets girl, boy turns into Robin, that kind of story. Then came in 2000, Picking Up the Pieces. I'm gonna be honest, never saw it.
Nope.
I do have to bring one thing. I actually deleted from our list because I was like, I don't think this is even a big deal. Then I read he was in a movie called Holy Matrimony the same year as Angels in the Outfield. Bill, let me describe this movie to you very quickly. Actually, you know what? Don't have to. Basically, it is Patricia Arquette has to marry Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is a child.
That's weird.
Yeah, to retrieve a hidden fortune following the death of her boyfriend. She has to marry a young boy to retrieve a bunch of money that her dead husband left.
So he's kind of always had a thing for the old ladies.
There you go. That movie, I'm actually going to try to put that one on my watch list. Mysterious Skin, just doing anything for you?
Never seen it.
Brick?
This one is the one that I did
research. I do know Brick.
I was going to watch this one. I just didn't have the time. This is the one where it's kind of like a murder mystery.
It's the one with the bank, and there's a hockey shot.
I didn't watch this one. I just watched the synopsis of it on YouTube.
I know,
and it was pretty good.
Yeah, Brick, don't know it. Havoc, that was not good. I can tell you that because I know I've seen it because I used to own every single Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie from this era on. Shadowboxer, again, just these were right before he got to that point. He was known. He wasn't necessarily the centerpiece of every movie. But if you Google Shadowboxer, by the way, there are really nice shadow boxes you can get for your tub. If you're wondering what a shadow boxer is. So the movie's about Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a tub. This is the movie I was speaking of. This was the movie I fell in love with him when I said, that's it. I'm all in on this guy. He plays a character named Chris Pratt, funny enough.
Yeah, not Star-Lord, but...
No, and not a guy who's always looking for people to defend him on Twitter. This is The Lookout. This was the movie he plays a security guard who the bank gets robbed. He gets all enticed into it. There's this weird scene where somebody's jaws on ice. And
he has amnesia in the movie.
Yes. And he has narcolepsy too, I believe. I think there's this conflicting thing in the thieves or the bad boys.
He gets involved with a gang from his high school and they try to convince him to be a part of the robbery.
Yeah, very good movie. More than likely, there's better. Might make my top 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really because this movie, it just reminds me of the time I watched it. I was at home, living at home still, and just watch it. I watched this movie too many times. Stop Loss was his next in 2008.
Not one I've seen.
No, 2008 also had Miracle at St. Anna. Sure. Kill Shot was his 2009 movie. And then, Bill, we hit the big time.
I think this is his best film.
I'll tell you why I think it's his worst. But it's his best movie, maybe, but his worst character. I'll tell you why in a second.
I think this is my second favorite character.
Well, you're an idiot because 500 Days of Summer. This movie plays Tom Hansen, who is a better word, it's like a greeting card writer for like a Hallmark. He falls in love with Zoe Deschanel. I love the concept of this movie is
Summer,
so well done.
the titular character.
Oh, titular. I love when people say that. Tell me about your titular character. But they have a 500-day relationship. It kind of Pulp Fictions its way through the relationship, the highs, the lows, the in-betweens. He plays the look from like where I think you're coming from is like, what a likable guy. He just wants to give this girl all of his like attention. He loves her. He tells her. He tries to be honest. The thing is, when you watch a movie for like the 15th time and you get skewed by people telling you, have you thought about it this way? Summer from the get-go says, I don't want to do anything serious. And Tom continues to try to push to get serious.
See, this is why this is his best role. This is the boy meets girl scenario where he finds himself in because he lacks that. And this is my whole thing with the Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's just a little bit less than everybody that's in the Inception. And we'll get to Inception.
Whoa.
He's like that.
Whoa.
He's not Leo. He's not, what's his name? The other super handsome guy, Tom Hardy.
I think he's way better than Tom Hardy as an actor.
Think so. No, I don't think so. But he's like the next tier down. And this is like his like sweet spot that like, oh, here we go. And like boy meeting girl, first time, the meet cute. And he's honestly, this is the same movie as Don John, just with porn. It really is. It really is. He's trying to woo this one girl the whole time. And then he realizes at the end, he's learned from this relationship.
Yeah, but this one, he literally is told no, and it's 500 days of trying to convince to make no a yes. And then he finds a much harder girl at the end, which is...
But like how many, we've all been in that scenario.
Yeah, but hopefully it doesn't... This ends badly. This ends very badly.
Yeah, a lot of things ends badly.
Yeah, I know, but it's not like the whole time it was like, I really shouldn't be doing this. Like she's regretful the whole time because she said to him, I don't really want to do it. Either way, this movie is excellent. It is a must-watch. Yeah. Music in this movie, wildly just entertaining. The ebbs and flows, the Hall & Oates dance number in there. There's so much that is great about this movie. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I've watched it at least 20 times in my life.
Wow.
Excuse me as I died. Oh yeah, me and Courtney watch this like every so often. So
the first time I saw this was probably like 5 months ago before we even had a talk about doing this podcast, because I've heard it's one of the ultimate, romantic comedies, not even romantic comedies, just like a romantic movie of all time. Yeah. And it really hit all the right notes, and he is phenomenal in this. I really think this is one of his best roles because he just hits this note better than a lot of the guys who have ever done that romantic comedy beat.
Yeah, he's just, and I think the thing is he also comes across very unintimidating and very likable. And
I think that's why he's not in like the next stratosphere guy, because he just has that
too talented. He's too talented.
He's just like too sweet. Like he just comes across as a nice guy. It's tough to put him in the a-hole role. Yeah, well, he kind of is an a-hole in this movie. Just saying. Uncertainty also came out in 2009, as well as Women in Trouble. Yeah, those are movies. Then he was a small role, but he was in G.I. Joe: Rise of the Cobra. And I'll be honest with you, Bill, I've never seen a G.I. Joe movie, and I have zero interest. I don't think anyone's ever seen a G.I. Joe movie. I don't know. I don't know who sees them.
I don't know. I feel like they were a pretty big deal for like a 2-second span. Wasn't The Rock in one of these?
I have no idea. The Rise of Cobra sounds cool, but put G.I. Joe on it. No one cares about fucking G.I. Joe.
I loved G.I. Joe when I was a kid, but
really, I did not. I was not.
It was same thing with X-Men. I have no interest in the X-Men movies, not because whatever.
But
I love the X-Men comic books, and I love the toys in the
TV show
animated series.
Yeah.
Same thing with G.I. Joe. I used to watch G.I. Joes every day, and I played with G.I. Joes all the time. It just, I don't know, didn't connect when the movie came out. Trying to sell me on toys. It was like Battleships when they made that movie out. But
I was anti-war at a young age.
You're a smart man. Hesher, I believe this is a comic book movie, by the way. I don't know a ton. I think it was from, no, it's like, all I know is I don't really like this movie, but it was all music from like Motorhead, Metallica. It was like a lot of heavy metal stuff. It was on HBO back when this happened. Rainn Wilson from The Office is in this as well. Couldn't tell you much about it. I just know that Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays like a kind of like a badass but he's barely just like, and he swears a lot in this movie. That's literally all I could tell you. He's like a badass. He punches people. Natalie Portman's in it as well. And There's your IMDb for you.
All right, we're getting to the good stuff here.
Electrolux. Yeah, that's good. Then came one of the best movies ever released, 2010, Inception.
I mean, this is another one of his top tier roles. This, spoiler alert, will make my 100% Mount Rushmore of his roles because, he's the researcher in this and he's playing opposite of two actors who I really do think Tom Hardy is a phenomenal talent. I think
I'm not saying he's not talented. I
think he's better than Joseph Gordon-Levitt just from the acting standpoint, just because he can, maybe not from the necessarily acting standpoint, but he is a bigger build guy just because of his build.
Thicker, his body?
No, he has, I don't know, the gravitas. Every time I see Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I see a child actor. Think about it. Imagine if JTT.
That's you, though. That's not, don't do that.
Perception
Everybody.
Perception is reality. Perception is reality.
Your perception is reality.
But it's a lot of people's perception. He just has that he looks the same that he did when he was on Third Rock from the Sun. He's still that sweet kid. And it's tough for me to picture him in a big time role. This was one of his first big time roles. And I thought he absolutely smashed it. And he's in one of the coolest action scenes maybe ever created.
Oh, yeah.
The scene in the hallway. That is an all-time movie highlight that he has. Like, no one else has that in that movie. There's some cool shit in that movie, but he has that fight in the hallway, which is insane. So he was phenomenal in that movie, and I think it's a credit that he was so good alongside Leo and
Tom Hardy, who is the B-tier.
No, he's not. He's a phenomenal actor.
All right, you keep using the P word. It ain't going to make it any better. I will tell you this, though. Tom Hardy, fine. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like a distinct overly talent, in my opinion. Joseph Gordon-Levitt then went to 50-50, which, if you've yet to see this movie, fun fact, this is where like Anna Kendrick got put on the map, by the way.
This is where a lot of people, I would say this is his like big breakout, like expanding role.
Inception.
No, but this is like, he is hitting all the emotions here. This is one.
It's a heavy role, right? It's a guy suffering from cancer who 50-50 comes from the 50-50 chance that he has to survive. He has an overbearing mother. He's trying to live his life. He has a stoner best friend played by Seth Rogen. Who, this movie, by the way, this was supposed to be James McAvoy. Famous
was
story.
It really?
James McAvoy was supposed to play the Joseph Gordon-Levitt role. Some other project came up, so it was a very late replacement into pre-production. So he kind of had to come in and just get into the role. And he said it was one of the hardest acting jobs he ever had to do because we could joke, we can laugh, like acting, whatever. But like to get into the role of someone who's suffering from cancer and like potentially about to die, kind of falling in love, has a best friend they have all these complications with. There's a very sad scene where he's about to have sex. And that scene always gets me. I don't know what it is, but like he like is just basically can't get excited for it. It's not because he doesn't want to. It's just like his life is spinning out of control, and his friends
has one of the more I think it has one of the more memorable visual scenes of like that era with him shaving his head with Seth Rogen behind him. That is just a great scene in that era of movie making. If you do want to just sit down and cry, watch 50-50. Oh yeah, it's like, but it is. There are so many scenes in this movie that make me. I don't like bawl in my eyes when I cry, Bill. Like, I'm more like well up. My wife is just waterworks, and we watched this probably somewhere in the early stages of the pandemic. I would say like April last year. It was on TV, and we just like went and found it and like watched it from the start. And it is. There are scenes that are very heavy and very excellent. Anna Kendrick and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like I wish they were together in real life because they're both super likable people. Yeah, all the scenes with the therapy are really, really good. And then. Yeah, it's a heartbreaking story. His girlfriend breaks up with him basically because he has cancer. Yeah, it's messed up. It really is, and sad things happen all the time. Speaking about sad things, the Dark Knight decided to make the Batman series decided to make a third movie, and it stunk. It's called The Dark Knight Rises. He is known as it stinks. I like this movie. I mean, the ending isn't great. I just didn't really, I don't know, this movie, it really was Inception like 2.0 in a different universe. All the same characters were just like poured in it. I didn't like the name. It should have been called Batman Rises. Well, because it's a Nolan movie, right? So, but the first one was called Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. It should have been Batman Rises. Or, I don't know, or Bruce Wayne Rises. I know it's dumb. But well, Robin's kind of dubbed, hopefully, or, that's also one of the dumbest things ever. I really did like the whole thing until they did that little bit. But he's given the Batcave, and I would love to see a universe where we get a nice Joseph Gordon-Levitt either being Robin or
Batwing or something.
Yeah, anything like that would be kind of cool because I do think this was his first, what do they call it, foray into the comic book universe, really. So I think he could play a good one of those characters. I typically am with everybody else, I think, in the DSG who says cast the young up-and-comer. This guy's more established, but as I said, I don't think he's that, like, it's not like casting Leo in this role.
It's like it would be the 2.0 of casting like Ant-Man, what they did with
Paul Rudd.
Thank you. Sorry. Not young,
Absolutely.
but like bringing him into something, and you first go, really? And then it's the execution.
You can hit a home run. Yeah, you can hit a home run with him in the right spot.
I agree, especially if Nolan's involved. But I just didn't care for the movie all that much.
He's great in it, though.
I did like him. The Robin twist at the end was fine. Like didn't bother me. Everyone's like all hot and bothered. Like Robin's a huge part of that. I just
bond over your dead parents. Come on, it's the most relatable thing to anybody.
Well, it could be. I will just say that the title of this movie still gets me. Dark Knight. They just capitalized off the Dark Knight. That's what it was. It should have been called Batman Rises. Anyways, next up is a badass movie. If you want a good 90-minute action, weird movie, Premium Rush. He plays a delivery man in New York City that rides a bike, like the bike deliverers or whatever those are called. Awesome. Mail carriers. It's really good. I highly suggest it. A nice little fun, action-packed movie. Again, this was, you could see Inception, Dark Knight Rises. They were probably all filmed around the same time, but keeping the action. He plays Willie. Weird name. Then comes a very strange movie, Bill. Bruce
Lincoln?
Willis. Nope.
Oh,
Bruce
Looper.
Willis. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Love this movie. You didn't like this movie?
I did not like it. I watched it on an airplane, so that always can tell you all you need to know. But it's not a great movie.
I thought it was
a bad movie.
Phenomenal.
Got to get this guy at the source today. But I will say it is a very bizarre movie.
All right, so I did use phenomenal and home run a lot, but this is
I like home run. Home run's
spectacular. I thought he was great. He was portraying, even though he didn't look like a young Bruce Willis, because we all know what a young Bruce Willis actually fucking looked like. That's
he's
what
better
I didn't
looking.
get.
He was better looking than
he's way better looking than a young Bruce
But
Willis.
they did all the CGI. That's what I think it was. I think the CGI kind of made me uncomfortable.
But these are like, I watched this and Don John within the last 4 days. And I think this has sold me on him more than anything else because these were badder ass roles than he typically plays. He usually plays either the sweet kid or, a little more softer role. And he's a ass in this. And he's really fucking good. He still sells the sweet side. The ending is spectacular. If you haven't seen this movie, I really think you're underselling it. I think the ending is perfectly poetic. I think him and Bruce Willis have a great dynamic. Him and the kid have a great dynamic. That is one of the best kid actors I've ever seen, by the way. He's
that role. I will give you that.
He's
I will
awesome.
give you that. He's
he
really
blows
good.
me away, and by how good he is at being fucking insane. It's a really cool concept. It's almost like a Christopher Nolan kind of concept. It's better than whatever that fucking movie he just put out, and I wasted 2.5 hours of my life.
Tenet.
Fucking horrible. This is such a better movie than Tenet. This movie, I was enamored by from start to finish.
I will just say, if you like watching cornfields in time looping over and over within cornfields, it's like Children of the Corn, but cooler. Then he did do Lincoln, as you mentioned, not as the known role in the movie, but plays a slight part. And I'll be honest, another one of those movies, if you first watch, you don't realize, that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. You don't do the Leonardo DiCaprio Once Upon a Time in Hollywood meme or GIF, whatever you will. Not going to lie, Bill, I watched Lincoln, not a rewatchable movie to me, not really my style to go back to.
I would never watch a movie about Abraham Lincoln. I know the story.
Wow. Have you ever seen Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
I actually might watch that, but I haven't seen it.
So you're a liar. Don John was next, the movie you've been sweating. He not only is in this movie as the star, he directed and wrote this movie, which makes me question a lot, but continue.
I think this is one of my favorite movies I've seen in a while. It's just a fresh idea. It's 100 Days of Summer with porno. He finds a girl. He's in love with a girl. He wants to make this girl
ridiculous
his own. Movie. He is absolutely insane. His whole family, his dynamic with Tony Danza at the dinner table, where they're in wife beaters eating together, just like the most Italian thing you've ever seen in your life.
Tony Danza was a nice touch, by the way.
He was so good. Him being super creepy about the girlfriend. Yeah. And by the way, you write a movie and you get Scarlett Johansson to star in it. Brilliant idea.
I'll also say it's like
way to
peak,
go, buddy.
It's peak Johansson too. She didn't cut the hair yet. She didn't, she was like in that right. Well, I don't want to say too much, but she was looking real good.
But it was more about like the stereotypes of like men and women than it was about porn. And I do love the sound the computer makes every single time he turns it on, the boom, because it's just such a familiar sound. And he's right about 99% of the things he says in that movie. I thought this movie was brilliant. I loved how everything was very repetitive. Him going to church, him going to the gym.
He was a good old Italian,
house.
Italian Bronx boy who would go to his palms to get the sauce.
It's like a relatable thing. My family is Italian. We're not that Italian. My grandfather did eat in his wife beater, but he was the only one. No, like not everybody else was in their wife beater. I just loved everything about this movie. And what's her name? Captain Marvel was the
Brie
sister
Larson.
in this movie.
Yes.
Didn't say a word literally the whole film. And I love when they use this device until the very end when she was like, "That girl's wrong for you, Johnny." And I was just like, oh.
It's honestly
because I didn't know which way she was leaning the whole movie, and then she was just like, "Nah, she's a bitch. You did the right thing." And I was like, "That was perfect use of her."
To relate that is like good storytelling, and like we're both wrestling fans. When someone can't use the mic, don't have them use the mic. And the very few times you ever hear from them, let it be impactful.
It was like I was floored. The mother in this movie, I've seen her in a million things. Didn't picture her as the Italian mother, but I like this movie was like I very much enjoyed this movie out of nowhere.
Another movie that came up, 2014, Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Never saw it.
Yeah, this was the one after like the big one, right? After the first one.
Well, Sin City, and like when we were in high school and stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one. He was part of The Interview, and it's an uncredited cameo, but you do see Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the movie The Interview, which I still find I haven't gone back to watch that enough because remember it was like banned in like countries, and I watched it on New Year's Eve. I think it was 2015 or New Year's Day. I absolutely died laughing the first time I watched it. I talk to my wife about this sometimes, but we've never gone back to it.
No,
it's just out there. Then there was The Walk, and then Bill, it was a part of my countdown for my favorite Christmas movies. I love this movie. Could watch it during Christmas or with teams up again with Seth Rogen, Anthony Mackie, The Night Before. Awesome film.
Yeah, this movie is. I think we didn't do it enough justice on our Christmas list, but it is a fun. It's I ranked it decently high.
Whatever.
A lot of people didn't. But it's if we're making a list of we're PCP, one of the top drug movies. This is one of them. This is a great Christmas and drug movie.
It's a good point. The drugs are understated, but it's really a large part of the movie.
Yeah.
Half of it's just getting weed to a dude doing coke and cars, but it is just a fun, good movie. And just Seth Rogen is a friend of ours, Pat, one of my buddies. He literally is Seth Rogen in this movie.
Really? Pat Hanlon?
Yeah, well, we don't like to say full names. It's a national broadcast. No, but yeah, he is legit. If you think about it, in moments of this movie, not only does he look like, I remember seeing this in theater, taking a picture. I never take pictures of my phone out in a movie theater, and I had to take a picture of him. He looks exactly like him in this movie.
Yeah, I can see that a little bit.
And then when Pat used to get a little more messed up and the switch used to get turned off, he literally is Seth Rogen.
I do love the Pat switch. Pat gets nuts.
We have Pat and Jimmy, two of our friends that just have switches. Both go different directions.
Well, we have another friend who it's a little darker.
You talking about Jimmy still?
Blake.
Yeah, that's the one that Bill almost punched him in the face one time. Story, we'll get to that.
I think we all did.
Yeah, I left him in Boston. It's okay. We love him, though. Then he played Edward Snowden in the movie Snowden, which is such a compelling story. Still to this day, one of those things I'm like, how is this guy alive in the world that we live in? But Edward Snowden, super compelling movie. Thought Joseph Gordon-Levitt was, again, a perfect fit for that style of character.
Yeah, I have not seen that one.
It's you know the story of Edward Snowden?
No.
Okay, watch it, or just Google him. He basically has like leaked out information about the CIA and the FBI that compromised things because they were doing things wrong, and somehow still is like no one knows exactly where he is, and no one can find him, but he still pops up and like speaks to schools and stuff. It's a very fascinating story, and I'm doing it no justice. Then basically we kind of wrap up a little bit. He was in Star Wars: The Last Jedi, but it was a cameo. Don't even know what that is. The 7500. It's on my to watch list on Amazon. I've not watched it. He plays like an airplane, a pilot or a co-pilot. Then he was he was with Knives Out. I saw this, Bill. We both saw this movie. Do you remember anything? And I know he's not really credited. It's just as a voice. So is that one of those like fake things somebody put on like IMDb for fun?
I have no idea, but I don't remember him being like the detective. I remember is the black dude who's like in everything now. What's his name?
Wait, in Knives Out?
Stanfield, the other detective, like not one of the
Not Daniel Craig.
not Blanc.
Anyway, so whatever. Moving
Lakeith
on.
Stanfield or whatever his name is.
Sure.
Like,
He was.
he's in everything. He's amazing.
That guy. Project Power, he was in with Jamie Foxx. Movie is brutal. Very bad movie. It was a Netflix only. Did not. I enjoyed watching it for like the first maybe 15 minutes. It's really bad. Very bad. And then The Trial of the Chicago 7. I don't know when this was released. It says 2020, and I believe it's on Netflix, but I have yet to watch that one.
So you've seen Uncut Gems?
Oh, I'm sure I've seen Uncut Gems, yeah.
The black dude in that's haggling back and forth with Adam Sandler is a detective in
Sure.
Knives Out. But like he's in everything now. He's awesome.
The time it took you to come up with Uncut Gems, you could have just Googled his name.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways, Bill, so Joseph Gordon-Levitt, we ran through, that's his career. Again, I've seen probably 75% of these movies. I will go back to watch most of these. When you look here, I like some of these added questions here. We'll end with the Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
I like this one. What roles would you like to see him try? You kind of mentioned this earlier.
So I want to see him get another superhero type movie. I think that would really be cool. And I'd love to see him, since he is such like a young kid. Well, he still has that young face. He's 40.
Yeah, he's 40 years old.
Maybe have him do like a Freaky Friday with somebody. I think that might be kind of cool. Even though
Just
he is
kill his
younger.
career. Kill his career.
No, but like I think those movies work sometimes.
Yeah, I think it does. I can't say it doesn't, but I do like this theory that you're kind of putting out there with this. DC could use maybe somebody like Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm sure he doesn't really enthralled with the way things are going, the vibe of that, but I could see him either in that what's that?
I was just gonna say, and a badass role. Like I liked Looper and I love Don John, where he's kind of playing a prick.
I like the idea of him probably like if there's another role, yeah, maybe it's not like as much action. Just I want like a really good somewhere between a Snowden and a Looper, just some heavy drama that like has a good twist, has a good story, something compelling. Maybe it is a Tenet style with like hype, not necessarily. I don't know. I've still not seen the movie, so I don't want to bash it. I've heard things go pretty much down the middle, but I think he is such a good actor that he can pull on your heartstrings, make you happy, make you sad, does a lot. So I do want to see that next. Boom, like big level movie. This question is absolutely erroneous. You made it. It says, why isn't he a Brad Pitt level? I'm not answering this crap. I'm not here to bash.
I really just think
monster.
he isn't that level. I just think he's the next step down just because.
But you said, why isn't he? So why isn't he?
He just has, to me, the perception of a guy who is just a little too nice, a little bit too much of a kid kind of actor. I just think he's not taken as seriously as he should be. I think he is that level. I just don't think the perception of him is that level. I don't think most people think, oh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I have to see this movie. It's like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he was the second or third best guy in Inception type of deal.
I think he also is very good with his role choices, and he obviously directs. He has this whole hit record Joe thing where it's all about collaborating. I think he is a smart. I'm assuming one, he has good money. Just assuming that. B, I think he's picky with his roles is my assumption. I think him and Christopher Nolan obviously had a nice little team up there for a nice stretch where I think he was doing stuff maybe out of his quote unquote comfort zone. But I think it's one of those things like going off of this Brad Pitt question. I would say like if he would be a great like Emil Hirsch was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That could have been a Joseph Gordon-Levitt, right? Like that neighbor, obviously who gets murdered, but in twist endings and all the way that. Our guy does it there. He always twists and makes it like, oh no, the bad things didn't happen, which I kind of like. But anyways, I think he's a great like third guy in an ensemble cast, and I think that's okay. And I think so. I'll agree with you there. Like, why isn't he there? I don't know. I think it could be choices, it could be structure, it could be a lot of reasons. But I think at the end of the day, he fits his roles that he does really well.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you put where does he fall in the all-time actors scale?
Yeah.
The hell does that even mean? Like
is he like I think he
Clint Eastwood.
No, but I think he's like, as we've kind of discussed, it's kind of like a little bit like, why isn't he Brad Pitt? He's kind of like B-C level actor.
Nah, he's definitely not a C. Because I think he's
low B.
I would give him a nice B. A nice solid B. And I love a B. I don't like A's. A's strive too high. Then we said, sorry. And then who's someone you'd like to see him work with?
I don't know, like a Tom Cruise, a Robbie Downey Jr., maybe even like a Matt Damon, get him another kind of comedy role. I think he could work with a lot of guys in Hollywood. I think he plays nice with everybody because you've seen him alongside so many different kind of people in all of his roles. So I think he could play nice. I think that's like his role. He kind of fits everywhere.
Yeah, I know this may sound strange. I want to see him with Jonah Hill. And like not like a budding comedy, because Jonah Hill is most of his best like acting roles are like the Moneyballs or Wolf of Wall Street, who are with in your equation A-list actors. I think those two put Jonah in a serious role. I think they would put together a really compelling and really really strong movie. Maybe it's but something like, I don't want it to be a comedy. I don't want it to be light. I think it could be a nice drama, kind of like what he tried with this Jamie Foxx movie. Like everything you're talking about, like if you watch Project Power, is probably what gives you your like validity to your argument. But I do want you to watch the first 15 minutes, and once you're ready to shut it off, you'll be like, that's what I meant. That's why it's not that level. All right, Bill, let's wrap it up here. Let's put in the Mount Rushmore of Joseph Gordon-Levitt roles for you are.
They are
movies,
in
whichever.
no particular order. Tom Hansen, 500 Days of Summer, Young Joe from Looper, Arthur from Inception, and of course, John from Don John.
For me, I'm still going to put it in there. I'm going to put it from like the whole movie perspective. Joseph, 500 Days of Summer, Inception, The Night Before, because I just think he's fantastic in that movie, and I could just watch that movie over and over, and I'll put 50-50 as well. So those will be ours. We'll congregate and make that a 4-person list, and we'll make people decide which of those, and we'll word it correctly so people can't be smartasses, which of the following is the best Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie. But Bill, that is Joseph Gordon-Levitt in a nutshell. I love him. I could watch anything by him. Clearly have some holes to fill. But I want you, like I said, Project Power stinks, but Premium Rush, that I feel like you would tell me later, be like, oh, I'm obsessed with this movie. Music, everything about it.
This week in Shared Universe.
Bill, what did our buddies across the DSG do this week?
So, Mac and Goo did the 1989 classic Aliens.
Gotta catch that
Change My Mind did fucking
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing for some reason, and it was really just Fryer and West just trying to prove a point that like the movie's not terrible, even though it is.
I've never seen that movie. Is it really terrible, or is
it's
it just
awful?
Oh,
TLDR talked books. Furloughed and Friends is no more.
Yep.
Dork did the villains. I only listened up to do my due diligence. And then we
villains.
are talking on I've heard
Pineapple
both ways.
Yep.
Episode 13, I believe.
Yeah, that would be correct. We've done up to 12 thus far. Also, we get our streamers who you can follow at Shime Time, at Rob Arvon D, Dr. Joe. As you like to say, they be streaming.
They be streaming.
And
They be
you
twitching.
You could, Twitching and streaming. You can check them out. Also, a part of the Dorkshire Gooniverse like that over on Facebook. Bill, we got some stuff to come here. We're going to quickly gloss through this. I'm thinking, well, next week we have an option. Before we get to March, we could either do a jukebox. We do something music related because March, we're musicking out, baby. We are rocking out with our legitimate stuff out, if you will. So I will just let you know that make sure you tune in. We're going to have a 64 of the brackets that we always do, but it's going to be all 90s related. So we'll get to that next week. We'll figure it all out. Bill, any final words for the people before you go pee your pants?
I have to pee my pants.
All right. We'll catch you all next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Frank says hi. Be positive. Be well.